Second Take, Week 5, solo edition. We were supposed to have Carlos this week. Unfortunately, he's got some personal stuff going on. Totally get it. We'll get him on eventually, maybe later this year. But as you guys know, we're going to proceed forward. And I have to start the episode with the major blow to the champ, losing both his first round pick in Malik Neighbors and his third round pick in Tyreek Hill. Man, if you didn't see that Tyreek Hill injury, I don't recommend. I'm kind of squeamish. And of course, both of these are ACL. Yeah, I believe Hill's is like even worse. MCL, ACL, just total tear. Ugh. It makes you sick, champ. I think he came out and said, I don't plan on repeating this year. I know the champ. That's a lie. He's going to make a move. He's going to double down, as he does have the number one running back as of today in Jonathan Taylor. I think he's going to be all right. Not too worried about you, champ. 3-1, you can afford to take a couple L's. Not a problem. Secondly, there were some trades. Different trades that happened. I think prior to Thursday, I know I had to push one through immediately. I think with Big Mike, I remember. Let's go ahead and bounce over there and look at those trades. All right, we're back to check out these trades, and I'm going to start with the first one that was received on September 25th between Big Mike and Nate. Actually, first look at this trade, it's kind of wild. Mike, obviously, with the injury to Joe Burrow, needed a starting quarterback. He did acquire Cam Ward for me for $11, but I think that's going to take a little time. But anyways, let's break down the trades. Big Mike sends Dallas Goedert and Travis Etienne for Aaron Jones, Kyler Murray, and Chris Rodriguez from Nate. As it stands, Chris Rodriguez is the number 2 running back there behind Bill. It's kind of a committee, but he's young. He's getting, for their 40% of the carries, the snaps anyways. Kyler Murray, Mike, he's good for 20. Like that's a 20-22, floor, unless he's just awful, it happens. But I like Kyler Murray for you. And then Aaron Jones, of course, on the IR. You're going to have to wait for that one. They're saying week 8, maybe. And then on the flip side for Nate, getting Travis Etienne, who, just want to say, in a dynasty, I sent him for a second-round pick this year early in the year before it started. Kind of regret it. He's having a hell of a year. This was obviously before the Tank Bigsby trade. Just a total Jekyll and Hyde from the year before. Shout out to Travis Etienne. And then Dallas Goedert, who just scores touchdowns, man. That guy's always efficient. Philadelphia doesn't throw the ball very much, but when they have to, he's a prime target. Overall, I like the trade. I had to choose a winner. I'd probably go with Nate. You always want the best player in the trade. Of course, Mike wouldn't have made this move if Joe Burrow was still playing, And then, is Joe Burrow going to come back? Because Browning keeps losing and he doesn't look great. Are they just going to shut the season down, fire their head coach? I think it's probably the best thing. I think if you ask Cincinnati Bengal fan, they'd probably want that overall. How about this blockbuster trade? I send Justin Jefferson to Xavier for Saquon Barkley. Xavier approached me for this trade. I clearly put Justin Jefferson on the block, created some awareness. I got multiple offers, by the way. This one, I had one that was really close to Tony. I don't think Tony was ready to pull the trigger. This one came in, was enough to me to move. I'm going to be honest with you guys, just to make why I made this move. Clearly, I don't have, obviously, with the first initial trade, right? Getting Jefferson for Devon Achane. I love Achane. Achane this year was RB3 for me. Yeah, I had him above Saquon, personally. I just thought he was going to have such a year. And obviously with the news of Tyreek going down, there's going to be more targets. And what's odd is, for my Parlay Minute, I took Achane to get 10 receptions. To get 5 receptions. Man only had 1. So that was weird. So we'll see what moves forward, whether he gets back on track. I assume it's 4 to 5 receptions a game minimum. But anyways, just to wrap this up, I went from 12 to 8 to 3 in draft order. It's week 5. Nobody cares about draft order anymore, or at least the first round. But there you go. Let's go ahead and look at the other trade, though. This one's more up my alley. Tony sent Stephon Diggs, DK Metcalf, and Genty for Chris Godwin and J.K. Dobbins from Primo, Ryan. Once again, you kind of want to take the best players in the trade, Tony, and I'm thinking that Genty long-term, DK long-term, even Diggs is going to be phenomenal. But at the end of the day, J.K. Dobbins is putting up 16 to 20 every week. Chris Godwin had an amazing, he wasn't great, right? You see there's a little bit of rust, but he had 10 targets. If Chris Godwin is anything like he was last year, he'll outperform DK and Stephon Diggs. So this was more of a get better, let's get prospects that are going to score more points for Tony, while Ryan is getting a little deeper, look ahead. Tony, of course, is on all cylinders, man. He is just destroying. And I think before this trade, obviously, we didn't see the Bears horrible against Genty. I mean, the line for Vegas actually looked competent in some points in that game. Genty obviously had a big game, and I don't know long term if that line's going to hold up for Genty and he's going to be good. Like, if you ask me today, would I rather have J.K. Dobbins full year or Genty? I'm probably going to lead Genty, but it's just an unknown. Tony, like, Dobbins can't stay healthy, man. That's the only knock. I have him in another league, too. I went out and got him in the Dynasty, right? I love the talent. He's phenomenal. Maybe this is the year. Maybe this is the year he stays healthy. And like him and Harvey can both coexist, you know? I truly believe Denver's going to support a two running back systems. Anyways, those were the trades. I'm sure there's going to be more to come very soon, but let's jump over to the power rankings. All right, we're back for the power rankings, and I kind of adjusted the black and red bars as you guys see on the screen. Only 8 of us make the playoffs as it stands. But prior, and I've talked about this, we used to have the wild card system where week 14 was essentially a battle of, 4 guys? They battled to get the best of the 2 would join the rest of the 6, and then that would be your 1 and 8 seed. It was a beautiful thing through NFL. I'm going to be honest with you guys, I haven't done much research than what I did in the beginning of the year to see if I can make this happen. I'm going to try, of course, but I can't promise anything, and as it stands, these are our settings. So I put Tony and Piani above everybody else by a large margin. Both teams are scoring a lot of points. Both teams are prolific. Puka Nacua is just unbelievable, and Piani is just super deep. I think he's probably a little worried about Derrick Henry, but it's King Henry. Like, it's going to work out for Piani. I assume they're going to lean on the run with the Lamar news, with the hammy. But anyways, so those are your first and second seeds, which, once again, there are no buys. So 1 and 2 are going to play, 7 and 8. So everybody's playing week 15. And then Dave at 3, making a major jump up. His team looks good. They're coming back together. I really do think you can see some jockeying here between 3 and 6. Carlos at the bottom. The champ, obviously, at 5. I'm not going to disrespect the champ. I think he's got a move in him. I think he's going to stay up here in this top 6. Obviously, if he stays where he's at, probably some else coming his way. He's going to see him drop maybe closer to 8. But I do expect the champ to stay in and be at least an 8 seed coming in, especially with the start 3 and 1. On the flip side, last but not least, here, Mikey in the top 8. Drafting from 1 wasn't easy for you. Your running backs are kind of working out. I know you kind of picked and popped during the draft. I can see you easily jumping up here maybe to 3. I don't know if anybody's going to jump 1 and 2 unless there's a major injury, right? Maybe, perhaps Piani or Tony can fall out a favor. I don't know. Tony just made a big move some guys. But as it stands, this is kind of your top 6. And then 7, 8, 9, 10. I don't want to count out anybody except for Downs. Downs cannot catch a break, man. Like, it's infuriating because he's putting up the points. He's literally putting up the points. I think Downs should be 2 and 2, right? As it stands, maybe 3 and 1. Like, he's just getting dominated. You can't play defense, Downs, because you just can't. You can't. So, like, I see you 0 and 4. I'm going to say 0 and 5 as well. You got some guys on bye, obviously. Caleb and Rome are out for you. We'll see what you can muster. It's not the end of the world. You could go on a streak here and get back, but we got to shout out Danny, who got his first victory. Impressive stuff starting Kenneth Gainwell. I didn't know that Warren was going to be out, but boy, did Gainwell show up for you, Danny, and that's probably the extra piece you need to propel you, and we'll see. But they're on bye this week, so we'll see how you do. Big Mike, of course, we talked about it in the opener with the trade and losing. He was a Cincinnati Bengals, and it's not looking good for them right now. And he's hoping for a trade at quarterback. Maybe they can bring in somebody like Jameis and can proceed forward. Xavier, though, it's been a rough start for you, buddy. I'm not going to count your team out. I thought your draft was excellent. Just some guys are underachieving, right? And then Nate had a flurry of things he had texted me, and I just want to quote a couple of these. I thought they were hilarious. He didn't appreciate the trade talk from Tony last week. He really believes Drake May is a QB1. Hunter Henry is a great option for him and is a red zone threat. He put JSN salvage his night in the fourth quarter on Thursday. He didn't appreciate me saying he's a top 15. Tony said, I think he's a top 15. I think he's higher than that. But I'm stuttering here. He was just like, Tony's credit. He later admitted that he doesn't watch Seattle on the episode when Torrey Horton came up, so he understands, why Tony believes that. But But he also wants to defend Tony. This trade was before it was filmed and before the trade for ETN, so, you know, it looks a little different. I'm sure Tony came back on, he would say something otherwise. But Nate is looking to get on Second Take soon. Just a spoiler, I know a lot of people get excited when he comes on. He's got a lot to say. But yeah, man, that's the power rankings. Let's go back and look at some of these L's, unfortunately. My L, most importantly. All right, we're here. It's I'm gonna drink to this, Mikey. It's a moment of silence, man. I can't blame anybody for this. I started Daniel Jones. Bench QB1. I looked at QB1 and I said, he's playing Cincinnati. He's probably. I was like, worst case, they're like up big and they just start running the ball. Man balled out 25 points. You know, and then like in Mikey's defense, if he started Scott, you know, this is always that thing. It's like you don't know who to start. You start the right guy, you get more points, things happen. But there was a moment where Chase was not getting it done, and I was like, I texted Mikey late, and I was like, could it happen again? 3 weeks in a row, I went on Monday night. Somebody underachieved. We're 2-2. Mikey's 2-2. Mikey feels like he should be better. He had some bad starts too, leaving Ibuka on the bench, but we'll proceed forward. And you know, a much needed win for the champ. It's great to get a win when, I mean, these guys put up points, but they went down. Primo just, I like Primo's team this year, man. I really do. Lad McConkey has not been well for you, and I'm going to tell you to hold. I think it'll get better. You know, no Daniels right now. I assume we'll see some changes, you know. We'll probably see Diggs in there. I think, Primo, you would love to see one of these tight ends leave Cleveland. And when I say one of them, I mean David Njoku. You'd love to see him traded, because then Harold Fannin would be that guy for you. It's tough. Tony, 160. This is probably the highest on the year. Xavier putting up 130 would have beat a lot of people. This was game of the week, rivalry. That Sunday night game was electric, ending in a draw, of course. Me and Tony cashed on our parlay, though. They void it. If you get a tie, I guess if you choose win or loss, you get a tie, they void it for you. So a little bit less money on our bet, but we each made a pretty penny. But going down here, like, if I'm Xavier, yeah, this sucks, man. Puka went off, Quentin Johnson went off, but I'm not worried. I'm not worried if I'm Xavier. Your team's putting up major points. It is tough when your defense puts up 20 and you lose, though. That's tough. To your rival? Oh. Shouting out Danny, though. Got the win over Matt. This is a major blow to Matt. This puts him back. Getting Josh Allen in there is correct this time. Danny losing Lamar. Danny's team looks real bad without Lamar. Real bad, man. It's going to be tough sledding for Danny here. You know, I don't want to write people off. I don't. And Danny's a two-time champion, you know, Hall of Famer in my book. But Danny, it's not looking good for you, man. Lamar should come back in a couple weeks. They're thinking it's the hamstring 2 to 3 maybe. You know, in Lamar, he'll play. But here's the other guy, Piani. I mean, guys putting up 130 and losing, man. This is rough. Piani 4-0. No, with this the new squad, of course. Bijan, Derrick Henry, Amon-Ra, right? Acquiring Amon-Ra and Derrick Henry. And Kyle Pitts putting up 18. Wow. And Pickett's going to look good for a while without CD. And, you know, he's got some guys down here on the bench. Piani's going to be a force this year, man. Is it Piani's year? Carlos, is it Piani's year? This was just a bump in the road for you, buddy. And then Mike, 1-3. It's Jim Miller time. Nate coming through. Drake May, big fan. You know, Nate, I kind of agree with you. I'm with you. I moved off Brock Purdy because I believe in Drake May. I'm right there with you. ETN he's just murdering it. I just don't understand. What was the difference between this year and last year? Was he hurt? Something personal? But yeah, I've already went over the point here with Big Mike. It's unfortunate. You know, Cincinnati was supposed to be really good this year. You still got time though. Judkins, man, that $100, that is not. I'll tell you that's not going to be worse fab. Not even going to be close. Last but not least here though, another tough L for Downs, man. 127. You guys believe? Oh, he did score. Okay, good. Up to this week, McCaffrey had not scored a touchdown, so that's huge. That's huge. Bucky with an injury. It's undisclosed, I think. Have we got word? Battling an injury. We don't know what it is. But anywho, Dave's team looks real. Double tight end strat. Ferguson's the real deal. Tyler Warren, man. What a pick. And then look at the bench here. Dave might as well hold. There's no reason to move. Dave's team. Dave is hot. Yeah. Well, all right. Let's bounce out of here. Hit the waiver wired. All right, I'm here for the waiver wired segment. There were 18 claims submitted. Got to start at the top here with the 3 touchdowns from Romeo Doubs. This makes sense for the champ. Desperate receiver, put down the 45 on it. Needs somebody you can start, get stuff from. I understand it. 2 bids on Isaiah Bond. Interesting, 0 and 25 there. I don't know about the Cleveland situation. Dylan Gabriel starting. We'll see. This one was big. Henry Miller with the news. I touched on it earlier in the episode. Malik Neighbors going down. I get it. You got to get what you can. It's going to be him and Wandell leading the way. And 13 for Xavier. Shout out to Xavier for actually getting a player, not I guess it's early in the waiver process that it didn't expire. All right, they didn't have room. You know what I mean? Shooting through here, Isaiah Davis with the Braylon Allen news. This makes sense. Outbidding me here, Mikey. Shout you out. Way to go. Matthew Stafford. I'm curious, Danny. Obviously, Danny is the Lamar owner, so how long will Stafford be an option for him? And playing tonight on Thursday is incredible. Eagles defense, dropping Green Bay Packers defense. Double bids here for 9, and this is where the waiver wire comes back into play here, boys. Clearly, Dave had a higher waiver wire priority, and that's the reason why Nate didn't get what he wanted here in the Philadelphia Eagles defense. And then Cleveland Browns defense, dropping New England for Nate. So Nate was going to go for the double defense ad. I love it. Malik Washington for Tony. Obviously, with the news for Tyreek Hill, that makes sense. Mason Taylor, this is a big ad. He's getting a lot of reps. And that's a good $7 bid there. 1 over Tony. Incredible. Bucker for 6. Little kicker action. Tolbert. There's Marvin Mims. Shout out Marvin Mims. My 8th round pick. $4 of fab. 2 bids were on this. Xavier, you did it again. You did it again. Xavier, I just recommend dropping some guys when you're going to go into the waivers. You're clearly bidding more than enough to win these guys. You just don't have the spots. And then, Danny dropping Parker Romo. He was awful. Joshua Cardi makes sense. Sam Darnold. 2 $0 bids here. Downs wins that. Of course, this is, once again, in effect, Dave obviously uses waiver priority earlier. Falls behind. Downs gets it. Shot him out. Same here. We had 2 $0 bids for the New York Giants defense. Dropping Brian Robinson. Wow. Chase McLaughlin. He's had such a rocky start, but he had a big game last week, dropping Boswell, who's on bye. And then Bryce Young. Darnell Mooney. Oh, wow. A couple quarterbacks picked up. And then, of course, there were some ads later, but yeah, man, that was a Waiver Wired segment. Appreciate the time. Now let's go to the Parlay Minute. All right, boys, we're here for the Parlay Minute. I am going to, of course, feature the Thursday night game like I always do. I think it's a great way to start your gambling week. A lot of opportunity here. I think I've been a little successful, not great, but here we are. This is 10 to win 53. Los Angeles Rams, I'm going to lay the 5.5 here. I think this game's not going to be close. I really do. I think the Rams are that much better. The 49ers are hurt, man. I don't know. If Jennings doesn't start, they're starting Demarcus Robinson and is it Kendrick Bourne? I don't even know who's on the team. It's the receiving is just not there, and Purdy might not even play. It might be Mac Jones. So that leads me to go with the 5.5, of course. McCaffrey to score. Stafford 200 yards passing. I think I should go higher. I think I can go 225, maybe even 250. And then Puka Nacua 80 yards. I just think there's no way Puka Nacua doesn't get it done. There's no way. This guy is going to be, he's wide receiver 1 for a reason. I think they have his over-under at 93.5, which I think I'd feel comfortable taking that. But once again, 10 to win 53. I'll post it on the Parlay Minute on the group meet. Let's make some money. Let's get out of here and jump over to the predictions. We're here. Week 5 predictions. It's still early. I'll start with my matchup. And boy, I caught the champ at the right time. I really did. Yet to make changes to his lineup. I don't think 86 is where it's going to stand. It'll probably be closer to mine. Probably maybe a little bit better than mine. We'll see. Who's he got on the bench? Terry's out too. Wow, the champ needs some help in a big way. He's going to have to pick up some receivers. Assume he can drop Hill, put Neighbors on the IR. Anywho, maybe it's 9,700 for that. This is a must-win game for me. I had to take advantage of this. My team, as it stands, we're happy. I think we're consistent. We'd like to see more work for Henderson. I think I reached in the third for sure. Expected bigger things, especially if the Ramondre fumbles. Got some guys going Monday night. Got some guys going Sunday. Might rock this double tight end strat. I feel confident, though, champ. I feel confident you can afford to take it out here. Tony is playing Mikey. And he's favored. He's favored, Mikey. Starting Scott. I don't think we're going to see that same number of volume for Scott. Maybe the PPR stuff's there for you. I think they're going to be up big. They're going to hammer the ball. Scott's more of that PPR back kind of guy. And I'm not saying you can't get the rock. Rico Dowdle. Look at these running backs, man. Who's on bye? Swift and Warren. Yeah. Ooh, Mikey, I don't like this one for you here. I mean, Tony hasn't even changed the tight end here. And he has points to gain. Wonder who will pick up. I'm going to roll with Tony here, Mikey. 2 and 3 is fine. You'll be okay. And then Tony just confidently 5-0. This is incredible. Incredible. Draft day beans. Danny is playing Primo. And like I said, there is going to be no Lamar. I think Daniels will play. Gainwell's on bye. We know that. Danny, if you want to move A-Chan, I'll send you 2 guys. I just think he needs to... I'll take him back. I think Danny needs to double down again. This is obviously going to be tough for him. Hill's a good start, PPR-wise, but man, I'm going to roll with Primo. Primo's team looks strong, man, after that trade. Gentile, Gibbs. Wandell's going to be the wide receiver 1 there for sure. Ladd on the bench. Primo's got to see it. I understand. Xavier, this is just your favorite here. All love's on by. So you got a shot here. Piani's got to pick up a quarterback. Juwan Jennings play, Xavier. I'm a fan. I think you already dropped Boswell. I'm going to take you, Xavier. We're waiting on Rashid Rice, right? Can't wait to get him back. Cannot wait. Matt is playing Nate in his favorite. Yo, Cam Scadaboo's the guy. I believe that's 16. And with the news over there, and we should have touched on that too, Braylon Allen out, going to IR. So Breece Hall's going to get a lot of work. Same for Isaiah Davis. But I think it was kind of like a timeshare, like a 50-50 split before for those two guys. You might see Hall a little bit more. Love me some JSN, Hunter Henry, McMay. They're at Buffalo. I don't like that. I'm going to roll Matt here, Nate. 2-3. Let's look at this one. Dave is playing Carlos. Multiple guys on Thursday night for Dave. Not a big fan of that Adams too going. Carlos, got to pick up a defense. We're going to see some moves here. Both guys need defenses. I'm going to take Dave, Carlos. Dave is just too hot right now. It's too hot. I don't believe in Herbert. Lost all faith in Herbert. We probably need a message from Big Mike to talk about that Chargers loss to the Giants. That was just egregious. Absolutely egregious. I am a fan of Pittman, though. I think Pittman's been doing a lot better this year. He's 27 years old. I like him. I don't think Kelsey's been all that, has he? Yeah, it's serviceable. Serviceable for Kelsey. I mean, they got nobody to throw to over there. I think what's it called just came back. Last but not least here, and we're going to feature this one. We got to feature this game of the week here. Will Downs get a victory? This is going to hurt, Mike, if you lose here. You're not favored. Downs is on bye, though, right? Missing some guys. Like I said, Grome and Caleb. And London, starting Charbonnet and Ken Walker. Against Tampa Bay, they might run a lot on them. Man, I'm just worried about the Cincinnati players. They're playing Detroit. It's going to be a shootout. They're going to have to, well, maybe not a shootout, it might be domination and just them trying to score, trying to pass. Chigakonkwo. Mike, this is bad. 1-4. Downs going to get his first victory. This is where it starts. Well, that'll wrap it up for the predictions. Let's get out of here and bounce to the outro. All right. Quick episode, of course. When we go solo, it goes fast. And I'm looking to get more of you guys featured, of course. Carlos is totally fine, man. Things happen. Life happens. We'll get you back in. But as it stands, it's week 5. There's some guys at the top, 4-0. Got an 0-4 and a 1-3, a couple 1-3s. I think it's going to middle out at some point here. We're going to see some real contenders. We're going to see some believers. And we're going to see some people eliminated. As it stands today, Danny's got to make some moves. He's got to get a little deeper. Joe's got to get a little deeper. I'm just talking out loud here thinking. And then we might see some changes, but it's still early. That'll wrap it up here for Second Take. Thanks for watching.